how we would beat zombies. That is what we're going to be talking about today, okay? And understand this. I've been talking about zombies for quite a bit on this channel, okay? I don't want to talk about it a whole lot in close proximity because my biggest video I've ever made on this channel was, would we survive zombies in fiction? However, I kept that very punsy. I didn't, go into the depths of how realistically I think we would be able to beat the Volatiles from Dying Light, the Night Walkers or White Walkers from Game of Thrones, or even the Flood from Halo, okay? Because, frankly, I had to keep that pretty short. However, to celebrate Dying Light 3, because at the time of this video releasing, I think the game actually came out, which is absolutely insane, by the way. I want to make this video of how realistically us, okay, all of us, humanity, would be able to beat these zombies, and our chances of us being able to do it. Because I'll just say this right now. I underrate Walking Dead quite a bit. However, there are legitimately a few things that I would worry about if the Walking Dead virus were to occur. It's not what you think, but I would legitimately kind of worry about that. And when you have something, I'll be real with you, the Last of Us cordyceps virus, I'll just be real with you, I think kind of gets overrated quite a bit. I actually think the way to take care of that, we would be able to do, not quickly, but we would be able to take care of it. In this video, I'm going to be going through zombies throughout fiction, and I'm going to give you realistically how we would beat every single one of them, and the odds of us being able to do it. This sounds entertaining. You please consider like, comment, and subscribe. We are trying to get to 300,000 subscribers before the end of the year. It's going to be tough. It's going to be real close. I'm not going to sugarcoat it, bro. But if we do, that'll be absolutely insane, okay, bro? We have different types of videos coming out just about every single day. I think we're up to 6 uploads a week, which is absolutely insane. We're entering into a golden age of the channel. I'm absolutely hyped to be making videos for you guys. And with all that out of the way, let's get into the video. Let's go. The Walking Dead virus. Codename the wildfire virus because it just kept on spreading. This is taking place in a universe where nobody knows what a zombie is. I'm not kidding you. That is literally the in-universe explanation for why The Walking Dead was able to absolutely decimate the entirety of the U.S. military. And I'm just going to be honest with you, that is still cope. That is still cope, bro. At least in, the novel, the World War Z, which, Walking Dead is heavily based off, okay? It actually gave an explanation, and part of the explanation is that they allowed the virus to take over because there was a profit incentive in place. But even then, they were able to wrap up the entirety of the zombie apocalypse in 7 years. Brother, we're on year 15, and we still have not done anything. I'm sorry, bro. Okay, what are we gonna do? What are we actually gonna do? I'm sorry, Doug. Quick little throw for how are we going to be dealing with the walkers, okay? Despite all the stuff that they're adding in afterwards, that there's mutations now, stop, get out of here. The walkers are fundamentally the plussy boys of all of the zombies in fiction, okay? They walk around, they squissy, they can samble around. Every once in a while, they can hit a speed walk. But other than that, bro, all you have to do to take them out is to destroy the brain. That sounds like a lot, and normally it would be a lot. But the problem is that because they aren't actually infected, they are more just reanimated bodies because they are legitimately rotting throughout the entire series, and that's going to play into our survival strategy to take care of them. They are so squishy, it's effectively you could take them out just by wrapping your hands and proceeded to start boxing, bro. I'm not even kidding you. If a 120-pound, underfed, but borderline anemic Carol can take care of it all by herself, I think we got this, mon ami. Okay? Understand this, how realistically this would go. People would freak out for a second and then hype it up like there's something crazy gonna happen. And then we would start making social media trends of getting walkers and just absolutely decimating them. I'm sorry, dog. If walkers were real today, Mr. Beast would have a video about how many walkers you can take out in a 1 hour period. I'm not even kidding you. And you know what, bro? The inconvenience of this would be that they would make zombies lame. Bro, you really thought that I was gonna give credit to the wildfire virus? Are you being for real right now, bro? No. We are absolutely dog walking the entirety of the Walking Dead verse, okay? Again, the moment we found out people were being infected, okay, and then people want to bring this up, oh, well, we couldn't handle the great cough of 2020, and I'm over here yeah, because it was more difficult to find out who was actually infected. Brother, I'm sorry. It is so easy to find out who is a walker and who is just a normal person. The moment we scope out who the walker is, they are gone. Boom, deleted. Oh, well, everybody's infected. Brother, I'm sorry. Just make it like a standard procedure that every single person that is passing should either automatically get like excavated to a hospital, and then the moment they go, immediate termination, not just termination, incineration on top of that, but also, bro, there's other things that you can do. Just make it a comic practice that as soon as the person passes, destroy the brain. Literally just do that. There are so many, like, you don't have to go straight up incinerate, and it's already airborne, everybody's already infected. It would just fundamentally change how society operated, but it would change how society operated and how we would deal with our fallen. That is the only thing. And brother, I'm sorry, there would be a brand new, like, there would be a whole industry around, like, trying to clarify who is infected and who isn't infected. Brother, Life Alert would come with your grandparents, but the Life Alert button, they would press that button and then, pff, gone. That would be Life Alert. I'm sorry, ain't nobody taking risk with an old person. And again, here's another thing. I'm sorry, I'm still not getting caught by them. They're so slow, dude. Again, Carol's packing them up. This is how realistically I think it would go, okay? You would hear a headline. Boom. First infected are in Massachusetts. Within 2 weeks, this is how it's going. Hey, guys, here's a new policy. If you go to a hospital and you're declared no longer with us, we're going to have to, like, destroy your brain. But other than that, life goes on as normal. Yeah. Brother, I'm sorry, that is literally what's going to happen. And there would be, like, new things done in society because people would, like, argue, hey, is it illegal to, do stuff with, like, a loved one's walking dead, like body? And when I mean by that, what I mean is, brother, 100% people are sending off the husk of their beloveds for like a game show in a Mr. Beast video. 100% people are doing that. That would be my worry of what y'all would do. That would be my worry, dog. Like, that's the only thing that I'm like, yeah, that might actually damage society. Anything other than that, absolutely. No, we're packing it up. And let's assume society as a whole collapses. Let's just assume that, okay? It's just us to fend it off. Brother, they are chronically rotting, okay? They will eventually take themselves out because their bodies just won't be able to operate. It's dumb. They aren't infected, they're literally just reanimated, and they will eventually just deteriorate to nothing. I'm sorry, bro. Easy work, no question. The cordyceps virus from The Last of Us. Now, there's a few differences here. It's not a virus, it is a fungal infection. Now, the difference in that is that, in theory, there wouldn't be a normal way of curing it. But I'm not even going to talk about cures in any of this. That's not really a factor. But its way of infecting that I do believe is going to be a real problem is through fungal spores. It is not just airborne, it is airborne, and the fungus is actively going to make the host, or the thing that it's infecting, more powerful than the thing that it's already infected in order to continue the spread. That's how you're going to get clickers that have like almost a shield on their head. That's how you're going to get like brawlers that literally are armored. That is the problem that you're going to be dealing with. Instead of like the Walking Dead like walkers, now you're dealing with an infection that is actively trying to make their host as powerful as possible to infect the greatest amount of people. And again, it's going to be doing this through either bites, fungal spores, or the transfer of just about any fluid from the infected to somebody that is not infected. All those put together, this is going to be pretty difficult. However, there's a few things that are going to be brought up. Ways to deal with this. Brother, burn every single cordyceps spore that you can find, okay? In fact, you can actually use, like, certain types of, like, fungicide. So, fungicide production is going to go to an all-time high, and this is where I'm going to hit you with the black pill really quick. Brother, I'm sorry. Fungicides are rubbing big fungicide companies are rubbing their hands for something like this, bro. Oh my goodness, that stuff will become more valuable in gold. We will invent, basically, Agent Orange for cordyceps within 3 months of finding out that this is happening. And then this is essentially what's going to be happening. Okay, since they want to hang out in relative groups, not as much as in The Walking Dead, we're going to be narrowing down where a lot of their cordyceps spores are being done, whether that's going to be in old subway stations, abandoned buildings. We're going to go in there, do Agent Orange on the cordyceps, and then take out any of the stragglers that are there. On top of that, it is not that everybody is infected. It is just that it's pretty easy to get infected when you're going inside of population centers. So essentially, this is what I think realistically the game plan would be. Okay, boom, we lose Seattle. Boom, we lose Philadelphia. Boom, we lose Lansing or Detroit. Okay, a big gov comes in and they are going to start taking small little like on the outskirts towns, and then gradually they're going to clear out an entire city. The moment they clear out an entire city, that is going to be the command center and like logistics hub for the entire country. And you want to know something about America, bro? We are basically the goats of logistical warfare, dude. I'm not even kidding. You want to go to World War II? One of the biggest flexes of America during World War II is that we were able to send Coca-Cola to the front lines. It actually hurt the morale of the Germans that we were facing, because as they were starving, fighting in their home country, our soldiers were feasting like kings in the front lines, dog. If that is not a fuck you, Germany, I have no clue what it is, dog. Bro. Now that is some motivation. Quintuple the defense budget right then and there, bro. Now, if we're dealing with the cordyceps, brother, logistically speaking, we have everything that we need with our infrastructure to be able to mass produce Agent Orange for cordyceps. And you notice how I'm talking about that. Brother, I don't trust our ability to be able to make something that would be able to cure you of this infection. I 100% believe they'd be like, yeah, no, we're not going to do that. However, we do got an NGO over here that has been able to make something that could just absolutely decimate fungus. And that's what's going to be done, okay? People are going to have a mass screening process to get into what would be these sanctuary cities, and everybody in those sanctuary cities is going to have a unique skill, whether you are a mechanic, a plumber, a doctor, or you're going to be used as a soldier to essentially clear out buildings, build out these fortified areas. And once we capture a few more population centers, and I don't mean like New York, I don't think we're going to be able to do that. I think that's going to be decimated. Places that are going to be deemed too overclaimed by the cordyceps virus, I do believe are going to get gone. I do believe that 100%. If there's a place that's too far gone, that thing's getting wiped off the map, and we're going to build something on top of it. And that's going to be a good old-fashioned Gulf War sock and awe tactics over here. Now, fundamentally, we're going to have to change how we're going to be dealing with some of these infected. Unlike other combatants, there is no wider strategy. They are effectively running off what is fungal instinct and what is broken humanity. But again, I'm telling you this right now. We are not making a cure. We are making Agent Orange for them. And once we take care of a certain amount of population centers, things would be able to build out. And I do believe over the course of probably 10 years, we would be able to get it done. Not 20 years. I do believe we'd be able to take this out pretty good. Society would collapse for a minute because so many people would get infected with the first place because it infected grain and there's not a lot of cures for it. But outside of that, we would be able to get it done. That is my prediction. I think it'll be easier than you think. I do think that. I think it'll be much easier than you think it's going to be. However, it's going to be really bad before it gets much better. The Haran virus from Dying Light. Now, there's a few separate ways that this could play out. Let's say how it plays out in the game, where there's this small place in what is essentially the Middle East that gets infected, and it's only basically in just this one place, okay? But it is a part of some valuable thing that comes from like I think it's like the GRE or the GER, and they want to send an operative to grab what is essentially their property, okay? If it's something like that, I'm gonna keep it real with you, dog. The U.S. is deleting Haran off the map. I'm sorry, that's something that has to be brought up. The most unrealistic part of the entirety of Dying Light is that the U.S. just didn't delete Haran effective immediately, dog. All you had to go do is walk up and say, hey, yo, bro, I think there's oil underneath Haran. And they're gonna be like, oh, what do you mean? They're just zombies? And we're going to be perceived as the good guy. This is what we're going to do. We're going to wipe Haran off the map, and then we're going to do some contract work, and then we're going to put, like, oil ranges right on there. Brother, everybody gets cheaper gas, and Haran is gone. Brother, no joke, that's literally what it would be. We would just be like, hey, yo, the zombies have oil, and then the zombies are gone. That's essentially what would happen. Now, let's say it infects the United States. Let's say it gets to us. This is where the problem is going to be. Since it's not quite an airborne virus and is very, very straightforward, infected through bites and a transfer of fluids, I think that would limit the infection quite a bit. However, the rules of it gets way more powerful at night. That's going to be the part that messes us up, because this is what the gamble is going to be running. Do you think you would be told that, like, oh yeah, bro, not to cause a panic or anything, but you know the infected people that, like, are kind of easy to deal with, they're kind of like samblers, and they still, like, operate like normal people. I still think the zombies from Dying Light are infected and not quite like the dead. However, brother, do you think they would tell us that, oh yeah, at night they become demons? They're basically vampires, dude. They are absolutely terrifying. They will outrun your vehicle, they will break through your windows, and they are pack hunters. That's the gamble that we're running. They can mimic how you speak, they can outrun you, they're stronger than you, and they are specifically enhanced by the Haran virus to be a super version of you to infect as many people as possible. They will rip you to shreds in a second. They have been seen to have some level of resistance to ballistics, melee, and the truth is, dog, you do not have the parkour of Kyle Crane. You are getting absolutely dusted, bro. The truth is, man, you would have to do a gamble whether you would want to be in a population center where you can fortify some shelter, but there's going to be more of them and it gets exponentially more dangerous at night, or live in the countryside and hide every single time night comes. But eventually, they would find out where you are at. Now, UV light is going to be the weakness here, and this is where I think we would be able to figure it out. Do I think that they would tell us that the volatiles are real? Absolutely not. I don't think they would tell us that. We 100% would be airdropped like UV light bulbs. 100%. And this is another thing, bro. How I determine how we would be able to take care of a zombie apocalypse is how easy would it be to monetize the weakness of them. Like, for example, we would be able to deal with the cordyceps virus from Last of Us because there would 100% be a company that's like, bro, we made the most powerful fungicide ever that would be able to deal with it. When we're looking at the volatiles and the Haran virus, brother, UV bulbs would become the meta. And this is how I think it would go, dog. I think the gov of any major, whether this is Europe or America, they would again try to like use small towns as a way of getting a foothold in areas, okay? They would wall off these places, put a bunch of UV light, and then they would build these power stations that would either be run off solar, because again, you don't really have to worry about building stuff during the day, so you can essentially do a lot of these solar farms on land. Or they would be doing just pure gasoline or coal fuel. On top of that, they would be taking this power and immediately putting it into UV light, and then they would start building out these borders so we can take up more and more and more land. And then the moment, again, that we can take on a population center and use that with some UV light, we'd be able to get it done. Strategies that I think would be used, oh, 100%, brother. They're taking an Apache helicopter, they're putting a UV spotlight on that, and they are going hunting for volatiles every single night. And I ain't gonna lie to you, man. That is one of the coolest things, bro. That needs to be a short film. Could you imagine if there was a job during the Dying Light? This is what I think should be. There's gonna be a job if the Haran or Dying Light universe were to actually happen, and it would be people that would get inside of an Apache helicopter, sign UV light at something, and then they would have another guy. Done. It would literally just be like hog hunting. That's what it would happen. You would have caves that you would have to deal with, but again, since they're vulnerable during the day, you could run an Apache helicopter with UV light to track out where these things are coming. Flash them with this UV light so they lead you back to their caves, and then in the morning plant some explosives to take out those caves, drive them into the light, and then done. Done. The moment we take care of the volatiles, it becomes exponentially easier for us. So realistically speaking, what I think would happen, I think they would take up some small towns, build up forces, take out the volatile nest as much as they can. Even if it meant leveling population centers, they would do it. And then the moment they were able to take care of a certain amount of volatiles, they would be able to take it. I'll be real here, dog. Mid-diff, purely because the volatiles are such a menace, and it would be how many of us they would take out before. But society would restructure to take them out. I think it's a mid-diff level matchup. The White Walkers from Game of Thrones. Yes, I want a supernatural. It was either the White Walkers or the Deadites from Evil Dead. And the truth is, man, I really don't know how we would take out the Deadites. We're not going to talk about them, but like, I have no clue how we're taking on that. When we're looking at the White Walkers, we're looking at a supernatural army that is fundamentally basically immune to all forms of damage outside of using Valerian steel to take them out and dragon fire. So this is the problem that we're going to run into. The moment the US Gov is able to find out how to manufacture Valerian steel, brother. Ooh! Dude, they're done. They are done! Like, the truth is, man, and like, well, could you replicate Dragonfire? You think we can't replicate that? This is going to be the problem we're going to run into, because the higher technology that we have, the White Walkers are also going to be able to use that, because it also kind of works as a hive mind ran by the Night King. If the Night King is able to absorb somebody that has the knowledge of this, they're going to be able to utilize that knowledge. Now, this is kind of unclear how much of a hive mind it is, but like when you're seeing in the Battle of like Winterfell, there were certain tactics that were used that would only be used by people that came from Winterfell, and they're basically like using their own tactics against their enemies, okay? If you're dealing with an enemy that could absorb us just by taking us out, even if we fall in battle, and then raising us up, they would in theory be able to use our own weaponry against us. And this is the problem that we're going to run into. It would literally be, I don't think they're going to be able to get into like F-22 like jets. I don't think they're going to have an Air Force. And the truth is, man, the Air Force is the great humbler of the zombie apocalypse, dog. But I do believe they would be able to use a lot of guerrilla tactics against us that we just fundamentally would not be able to use. However, they pretty much only operate in cold areas for the most part. They can cross into areas that aren't so cold. Obviously, that can happen. However, there is a pretty straightforward way of where they're going to go. And the moment that we realize where they're at with like UAV positioning, satellites, the moment we find that out, we can do a lot of strikes. And again, here's another weakness of them. They are all in a group. And let me tell you something right now, dog. If you're going to be talking shit to the U.S., okay, or frankly, any world power with an Air Force or an arsenal, if you know what I'm talking about, and all of y'all can be viewed from a satellite, and you guys are all in a group, this is all I'm saying. Bro! Boom! Ah! Deleted, absolutely vaporized, turned into past tense within 3 seconds. But that's assuming they don't adapt to those tactics and then spread out. I'm going to put it in high diff because it could get real bad because they could use our own tactics against us. But fundamentally, there's a few things that we can do that would be a hard counter to them the moment we realized what they were doing. Imagine if it started in Canada and then came down here. I think we would be able to have this packed up before they got to Ontario. That's what I would say, bro. I'm going to put it in high diff, though. The Flood from Halo. Yeah, we're talking about the Flood again. Okay, to quote some Halo really quick, one Flood spore can take out an entire planet. They can adapt to anything that they're trying to face, not as much as like the Tyranids from Warhammer. However, they can basically adapt to whatever they're facing, even by like using technology that the enemies that are beating them. They can adapt to said technology by basically kind of like how the Tyranids do. They have like an actual hive mind mega intelligence that can outthink and out-strategize any one person on the planet. And if there's anything that it struggles against, all it has to do is absorb that person, and then it has all of the ideas that that person had to take us out. The one tactic that we would be able to use to take out the Flood would basically just be firepower on top of firepower. The only real weakness the Flood kind of has is that they can be vaporized. But here's the problem. We don't have any firepower that is near like a plasma weapon from Halo. We don't have the ability to glass a planet without, causing more problems for us. Like, the truth is, we can unload the entire nuclear arsenal. The problem is the damage that would cause to us would be way more than the damage that we would cause to the Flood. Realistically, this is how I think it would go. I think the Flood is going to be able to take out a large portion of humanity, and then we're going to say, fuck it, bro, launch the nukes. It's going to hit them, and we are not going to be able to take out all of them, and they are going to use the radiated area as their home base because we won't be able to come over there, and then it's going to infect more and more and more. And the moment it infects anybody in any leadership position, we are absolutely cooked because then it can use the tactics that we were going to use against it and start, strategizing against those plans. Bro, we're cooked. No. We are cooked. There's literally not much we can do, okay? That is how I think it would... there's no strats. There literally isn't. Brother, I'm sorry, the Forerunners literally had to create Halo rings to delete all life just so they could get a chance to face them again. And they didn't even bring themselves back because they didn't want to face them again. The Flood is in, we are cooked, no question. And that is how realistically humanity would beat these zombies throughout fiction, okay? I want to make this video to celebrate the release of Dying Light 3. I'm going to be playing that at the time that you are watching this, probably. Brother, thank you for everybody who supports the channel. I think we're going to hit 300,000 subscribers before the end of the year. If we don't, we already hit 250,000. It's absolutely humbling to be able to do what I do. I've been able to experiment with different types of video, the Hear Me Outs video, the Hot Takes video. I've been able to do stuff that isn't just like tier list stuff. It's actually just stuff that I can yap about. And that I think is the best part. I really do. Like now, even like my low hitting videos are like my higher ups back in the day, which is absolutely insane. Thank you, everybody, for the support that you give this channel. And if you want a video like this, put it in the comment section down below. And with all that out of the way, I will see you all in the next video. Adios.